Hello and welcome to the Work Hates podcast. Everyone has a nightmare work story, whether it is a shit boss, a dreadful workplace, or an insufferable colleague. And if you have none of those things, chances are you're the problem. I'm Bron Lewis. This is Bretty Blake.
Hello, legends. Please welcome to the podcast, comedian, actor, pig enthusiast, Danielle Walker.
Hello.
Fuck, I told you. You said no riffing, but I was like, I got to riff the intro. Do you actually like pigs?
I do like pigs.
Well done, Bretty.
No,
Nailed
I
that.
do. It's just I always people always talk to me more about pigs because I think I bring them up a lot because of my family with the killing of them.
Yeah.
And then
What kind of pigs do you kill? Is it a pig farm?
feral pigs.
Feral pigs.
Feral pig. Terrifying.
Isn't your uncle a roo shooter or a pig hunter?
Well, he's been both.
Okay.
Currently, I think
He's a diverse man. He
he's
can do
a
both.
diverse man. Yeah. He used to shoot brumbies out of helicopters too.
That's pretty cool.
Which is cool. Yeah, he's like a really good shot. He can from a helicopter.
Yeah.
Do you know how crazy you got to be with the
Well,
wind
two
speeds
things are moving, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
the Brumby
my
and the
gosh.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of the magazine Babes and Boars?
Yes, I have heard of it's.
Sorry.
Is it?
How do I not even know about this?
I think it's.
Let's rewind. Babes and Boars.
Is it Babes and Balls or Chicks shooting grunters? I can't remember.
The one I've heard of is Babes and Boars, and it is someone shot a horrible giant feral pig,
Yeah.
and then a woman in a bikini will like grab it by its husks. Are they
Tusks?
Tusks, and like just hold it up, and then I'm assuming their revolting boyfriend will take a photo and they'll send it in to the magazine, and then they will.
How
print
do I
it.
not know about this magazine?
I don't know.
We will link you. I'll buy you one. I'll buy you a subscription.
I would love that.
You would love
We
it.
used to have Ozbike in WA, so it'd be
Okay.
like guys on their motorbikes,
Yeah.
right? And they'd send in photos. But at the back page, this is how we used to get porn without buying porn, because it was like MA15 plus. At the very back, there'd always be like the biker guys, misses like with their kid off.
Oh, yeah.
And we were able to buy that when we were 15. So
Like completely nude.
yeah, like titties, but not bush.
Wait, so did you have to show IDs to buy like an FHM magazine back in the day?
Not FHM, but if you wanted to buy an actual porno, you had to be
Okay.
over 18. But Ozbike was the middle ground, so you
Yeah.
could see nipple, but you didn't have to show ID.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
interesting.
That's really beautiful.
It is.
That is
I'm
interesting.
glad I shared that. Yeah.
What a fun way to get porn. In a time when you had the internet.
No, because we had dial-up, so we had
yeah.
we were like, it took ages to
Yeah.
see booby, and then we also had porn buried
Yeah.
at the local creek, and everyone knew the spot. So you just take a
It's
shovel
like
down
a
there.
community library.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Dewey Decimal System. There was just a shovel. But we used to have to dig under a tree,
Yeah.
and there'll be a bag, and there'll be porn, and then you like look at it, and then you dig it.
And then
That's
all of
the
the
worst thing I've ever heard of.
It's like they
Ben
all,
Russell has the exact same experience as me, which is weird.
Was it the same bag?
No,
Was that you both
different
from
creek,
Perth?
different tree, different bag.
It feels like that's preparing men to like murder women and hide the bodies.
Yeah.
Does
Look,
that
I've
feel
never thought about it more than 10 seconds, and yeah, no, you're right.
It
But
feels
you know,
like
that area would just be covered in horrible things.
yeah.
No, because we're too
What do
young
you
to be
mean?
like, no one's jacking off, but you just
Or
like,
you just
whoa.
read it together.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, check that out, and then you just bury it again. That
You
is
are-
fucking weird, isn't
Yeah,
it?
That is
and you're
weird,
out of
yeah.
your mind to think that no one went there by themselves.
And with the people definitely wanked.
Well, yeah, once again, I didn't think about it, but yeah, now, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why you brought your own shovel. You don't want to touch someone else's shovel.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, you
disgusting.
did
Well, you
bring your
bought
own
your own shovel?
Well, yeah, how else are you going to dig it up with your bare hands? I'm not a fucking animal.
Well, I
Yes,
just figured
you
there'd be
are.
a shovel hanging around. Like maybe it's got a rope attached to a tree, like a pen at a post office.
Like at a bank or something. Like,
Nobody
no.
steal the shovel, but it's there for the porn. So you don't, because if not your mum and dad, they're going to know if you steal the shovel. Because did you have a tiny little shovel? I feel like all the shovels.
No, it was a big shovel. It
Mine
was a
has-
normal
yeah,
shovel. I used
it's
to
a
drive
rock.
down on my BMX. I'd
With
dig it
your
up.
shovel?
Yeah, with a shovel.
It's so dangerous.
No. Also, me and my brother used to make, I think I've told you this, we used to make our own pornos.
Yeah, we've had this on the podcast.
Okay,
Well,
don't
I
say this again.
Yeah.
My brother and I used to make
I've
our
gotta-
own
I've got to figure out a
pornos.
better way of saying it. But I can't yet because I don't have enough vocabulary. But yeah, we used to like have shifts and we would record, like if we saw
Oh, I
sex
see.
or whatever on
The TV guide.
TV Guide, someone have to stay up and do a shift.
Okay,
And then we hit record.
you can say you and your brother recorded porn from the TV.
Yeah, but I feel like it has less punch.
Yeah, I do think it's got less punch.
Makes people less upset when he says that.
That's
So,
true.
Danielle, thanks so much for coming on to our podcast. I was so excited. I was just saying to you before we started recording, I was thrilled you said yes because you're a big dog.
I don't know.
You are.
Okay.
You're everywhere. Every time I turn on the telly, every time I turn on the radio, your lovely little voice comes through. I'm like, oh my God, she must be the richest woman alive, as if she's ever going to spare time.
The lady 2 minutes ago who was like, "I thank God I didn't wear pajamas underneath this trench coat."
But rich people can do that.
Oh, that's true.
So
That's a
you've
power
come
move.
to our podcast. I'm so excited. You have been in comedy for how long?
I think this is my 10th. I think I'm about to have my 10-year anniversary. Which is nice.
Congratulations.
We did we did a gig very early
Yeah,
on
in
in Sydney.
Sydney, yeah.
Yeah. I still remember that because I remember your friend who got hit by a bus.
Yes, Helen.
Helen,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Helen.
She got hit by a bus not too long before that, and we both thought it was very funny that she'd been hit by the bus.
it is funny.
And then
Did she get injured? Very
yeah,
bad?
no,
Oh.
yeah, she did have to
shit.
have emergency surgery. Yeah.
It wasn't a fun one.
It's
You know
not
what I mean?
funny in the end.
Yeah.
I got like a message from her mum to say Helen's been hit by a bus, and I was at a friend's house in Townsville, and I was like, okay, Helen's been hit by a bus. Well, I'll just finish up here, and then I was like, oh no, my best friend's been hit by a bus, and then I started to drive towards my house, and then all the cars were beeping at me, and I was like, what's going on? And I hadn't put my lights on. It was nighttime, and so I guess I was just in shock. But then I got home to my house. Well, at first I went to Helen's house because I figured her mum was there, but it turns out she wasn't. And then I called my dad, and I was like, Dad, Helen's been hit by a bus. Helen's been hit by a bus. And then my dad was like, Danielle, stop being hysterical.
Yeah, fair enough.
And
Good
then-
thing to say to a woman.
Yeah,
I
one of
love
our best
it.
friends been hit by a bus. And then I went down. I was the first one to get to the hospital, which was good.
Yeah.
I felt like I'd done best friend duties there. And then the nurses kept saying, if you can do crosswords or puzzles together just so we can see if she's got any brain damage. Because she got hit in the head. So her head was split
on.
open.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Hell.
And so they had to do like emergency surgery to get her head back together.
This is
and-
actually not funny at all.
No.
I don't know why I opened this can of worms. Yeah.
I told you, but me and Helen we thought it was so funny.
Wow.
We were like, and then we were doing the things to try and make sure she didn't have brain damage, and she couldn't remember some letters, and like both of us were like, ha ha ha, ha. She had brain damage. I'm just psycho.
You've got brain damage, Helen. It's happened. You've done it.
That's
You've
why
got
she's
it.
laughing, because
Yeah.
she's got no cognitive function.
Yeah.
Is she all right now?
Yeah, she's fun. She came to my show the other night.
Oh,
yeah, she's
good.
married now. Yeah,
Oh,
she's
wow.
great. Yeah,
Okay,
she
great.
can't even see the scar really, unless she pulls her fringe up. You know.
Well, that's beautiful.
When Kappa got head trauma, like because he crashed on a motorbike adventure we were on, and
Yeah.
he came off, he hit his head real bad, and the doctor came in and goes, guys, he's he doesn't seem to be quite there. And his brother goes, that's what he's normally like.
And that's him.
And he was fine. Yeah, it was just him just being slow as usual.
He's not all there.
Yeah.
So good.
There might be some long lasting. He was like, nah, he was like that before. Get him back on the bike. Who gives a fuck?
So, what was your job before comedy then?
Oh, I had heaps of jobs before
Did
comedy.
you?
Yeah.
So, how old were you when you started comedy?
Um, 22-ish.
Yeah, that's
22-ish. Yeah.
young. Were you
yeah.
the same, Brett? No.
Yeah, because I've
Yeah.
been doing comedy 11, 12 years. How old am I now?
You're
Nah.
38.
Fuck yeah, nah.
Yeah, you've been going a while.
I've been going a while.
Yeah.
No, but I reckon since 25, 26.
Yeah, 22 is really
22 's
young.
but
isn't
not
it?
but not compared to like some people who are like
Yeah.
15, 16 when they're getting started.
I don't
Their
like those
parents
people.
to come.
Yeah.
I hosted class clowns the other day.
Yeah.
All right, we've all got shit going on.
So that's when there's like really young people, like in high school, and they have to be between 14 and 18, I think.
What the,
Whoa.
what
And
the
there
fuck
was-
would they know about anything?
Some of the, like there was one bloke, this one kid from Brisbane was so good. It was really like
that's
strangely good.
Disconcerting?
Yeah, I was like, how is he this good?
Do you reckon
And
he
was
stole any
also-
material?
No, there
Okay.
was a little boy in the group who had arrived on the day, and they said, "All right, they'll go through." He went through his set, and they were like, "Oh, this is." He was 13, like he'd fudged his application, and they were like, "This is really good," and he went, "Yeah, thanks. What's this word mean, but?" And they were like, "Yeah, okay, so." Is this yours? And he was like, yeah, I got it from the internet. I got No, like,
Oh, he didn't understand.
This is not, you can't use it. So he had to go.
I bought a bag of snakes alive the other day.
That's funny. You go, this is too good.
Yeah.
What does this word mean?
Snakes.
I was going, he's done Bill Hicks.
And my default setting was Dave Hughes and his big word snakes. Whoa.
Yeah, but it was interesting. I was like, some of them had material that they'd written, but they'd taken from like inspiration from older comedians, because you don't see teenage comedians on stage.
Yeah.
So on telly. So they just watch it and then they're like, what's the deal with, like paying tax? Or like something that they'd never ever done.
That's crazy.
It was adorable. But then the kid from Brisbane like actually had stuff that was to do with being a teenager, but it was really funny. But most of them it was like, oh, this is like you can't base this on anything else. So you can't be like, well, most comedians my age kind of talk about this and my concerns are this or whatever. So at 22, I reckon it would be similar to be like, what do you talk about at 22?
Well, I remember my first set.
Yeah,
because
what did
I
you
also
talk about?
I guess I moved over. I'd come back from London because I moved when I was. Mum and Dad got separated, and then I was like, oh, I don't want to be around for this. So I moved. I saved up money, and then I moved to London. So I'd just come back from 2 years over there, and I think like over those 2 years, I spent a lot of time in hostels and stuff. And
yucky.
And it was like, when you like talk to people, and then you find like a few stories that you go like, it's essentially workshopping bits. But the worst way, when somebody does it to your face. I think I'd done that, and then I was like, I think I might do comedy when I get home.
So good.
Yeah.
Did you try, and where was your first gig? Here?
Townsville.
In Townsville?
Yeah, in Townsville. I did like a comedy workshop up there.
Okay.
Run by a guy who'd done Class Clowns. He was one of the children from Class
who
Clowns.
Who ran this? Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the children in Class Clowns, and he got through to, I guess, to the state final, and then he ran some workshops for comedy, and then I did that, and those were good. But my first set, I remember I did a bit about how my mum, you do your classic stuff that people do during their first set when they're 22. I did a bit about when I got my period for the first time, because my mum showed me I was supposed to go to a pool party, and my mum she's just very matter of fact, so she was like, well, you're going to need a tampon, and then she took me to the shops and then took me into the disabled cubicle and like put one into herself in front of me to show me how to do it.
Sorry, so is that a normal experience for most women? No. Okay. I just don't know where the line is.
No.
It's like Dad's like, this is how you put on a condom. He's got an erect penis. You're like, I don't need to see any of this. Normally your mum does it with her mouth. Anyway, too much.
No, Okay, now it makes sense you and your brother were making the porno.
Yeah, we're real horny. Yeah.
So your mum demonstrated. That is commitment.
She
also
demonstrated.
A woman who's like, I'm not good with words.
Yeah, she just also, but there's like a little instruction
is a
leaflet.
pamphlet.
She didn't
There's a
show me that.
diagram,
There's a
I believe.
diagram.
Yeah, you don't need a...
So I couldn't see anything. Like, Mum had a big bush at the time, so
You know
I
what?
couldn't even like.
I'm glad you said it, because that was my next question. I was like, I'm not going to go down this path. But I was like, was she full bush, half
Yeah,
bush?
she was full bush.
Full bush.
And now she says she's not, but I think that she shouldn't have done that, because like my mum, I shouldn't.
So
Anyway,
essentially,
nobody
all you saw
tell
was a
my mum.
tampon going to the abyss. You don't know where it went.
God.
Yeah. It never, because I just remember Mum had the most beautiful, luscious bush, and I was so excited to get mine, and it never came through like that. Like, do you remember seeing your mum?
She was just showing off.
Yeah, she was showing off. She had like it was like really tight curls, and like it was like I remember her taking her undies off for the day, and then it being like flat, and then her going for a shower, and then her getting out and drying it with a towel, and it being like, and it was such a. I was waiting for mine, and then I just had like a.
You never got to your mum's
I never got my
bush
mum's
standard.
bush. It
You
was
got
like the
your dad's
one.
bush.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
I've never met him, but I guess I've got his bush.
I can't imagine why he left. Anyway, check this out, mate. Jesus.
So that was
I
my
can't
first.
remember. Okay, that's what you said. I was
That's
like, how did we get here?
That's
okay,
classic.
That's
first
really
set,
good.
First set
There's
stuff.
nothing
You know.
classic about that first set, but it is a very good first set. That's hilarious. What's your first set about, Blake?
Mine was. I think I may have talked about it before, because I broke my hand. I used to work at a
Wanking.
truck depot.
Yeah.
I broke my hand on a slippery slide, and I think it.
That's right.
Yeah. I've been bullied for it, because no one goes, it's not a slippery slide. It is a fucking slippery slide.
It's a slippery dip.
No, it's a slippery slide.
Just a
Go back to fucking Queensland, all right? In Perth, it's a slippery slide.
What,
Anyway,
sorry, what, you're going me? You're going me, and I've kept the word slippery in it. You're not going Bron.
well, what does Bron think it is?
She just said
slide.
It's not
slide.
just a slide. It's got detergent on it. What are you, fucking insane?
Oh, okay. You're talking about like a.
When you wet it. Yeah, and you put detergent on it, you're like,
Oh,
whoa.
I thought you meant a slide at
That's
the
a slip and slide.
That's a slip and slide.
It's a slippery slide.
No, it's not.
No.
Guys,
This is
you're both wrong.
gone to the dogs.
But no, yeah, I broke my hand on that, and it was about that. And then I think, long story short, it was about I broke my hand on something long, black, slippery when wet. And
I see.
Yeah, you see
yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
where I was going with that one, and it bombed so badly, like really bad. And like, yeah, because I did good on the first, I did raw. So
Yeah.
I did the first heat, and I did like good. I was like, fuck yeah. Then I rewrote a brand new set. Big mistake, and then bombed, and then someone from my high school came up to me, and I didn't realize in the crowd, and they're like, "Is this what you do now?" And I was like, "But I was like, I did so well last week. I'll probably get through. That's how good I was last week." And I hanged around. I did not get through. I walked down to the car park, and then some guy in a Hilux, I still remember it, red Hilux, wound the window down. He goes, "Hey mate, you're on the stage, weren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You fucking sucked."
It's so
And then drove
mean.
off, but then
That's
behind
so
him was like a
mean.
thirsty camel, and I just went in there and bought a litre of Jamison and drank it.
And you
That's
still kept
actually-
going. That's really
Oh no,
admirable.
I stopped for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
Oh
stopped.
my gosh! If I found that man, I'd bash him. That's the meanest thing to
Yeah.
say to someone.
He
who's
wasn't
just
wrong
tried.
though.
No,
But you
he's-
don't need to say
you don't
say
need to
that.
say that.
It's pretty funny though.
He went out of his
But
way.
right now I got good content for a podcast, so I thank
That's-
him. You know.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Actually, let's give him a kiss instead.
But then, 3 years later, a mate started doing comedy, Josh, who listens to this, and he was so bad but kept winning all this stuff that I decided to go again because I knew I could beat him. And I did.
Does he still do comedy?
No.
Okay,
No.
yeah.
He's like, he actually makes hundreds of thousands of dollars. He works for a big digital
Oh, you've
company.
won.
And
You've
No, I
won.
haven't.
You've won big time.
Yeah, I won. Yeah, I'm on a podcast at a pub on a fucking Monday and I'm hungover as shit.
Do you have a recording of your first gig?
No, I've got photos of me doing my first gig though.
Yeah.
And I have a cardigan on and I'm drinking. I'm a very confused man. I got a cardigan on, I've got spiky hair, I got thongs on, shorts, and I'm drinking a rum.
Wowie.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah,
That was me trying to fit into the
pick
arts. I
your
used to wear
lane.
try and wear a cardigan to try and be arty because we didn't have anyone who did theatre at our school was like a
Lame.
nerd or
Yeah.
no one did it. So
Yeah.
that was me trying to fit into the arts.
Perth would be hard. It'd be hard to grow up in Perth. Poor little things.
Yeah, it's fine, I guess.
It's not.
Townsville would have been worse.
All right. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I didn't genuinely. I was like, everybody, you know, when you're from like a more regional area, people are like, I can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to get out of this hole. I like would say that, but I didn't think it.
You didn't actually want to leave.
I didn't want to leave. I was like, I love Townsville. I remember when the Townsville built a Maya, my dad, they had like a video of them like doing the grand opening, and my dad went, well, that's it. We've got everything you could ever need here now.
We've made it.
And I remember
No
feeling
need to
that
move.
deep within my soul, being like, there is nothing else we could need here now. And then I only moved to London. Genuinely, I only moved to London because mum and dad were they got separated, and I was like, I can't deal with them needing me to be, because I was like 18, they wanted me to do, well, I wanted to do week on, week off with mum and dad so I could be with my sisters. And then it just wasn't working. And then I decided to live with dad, and mum
Would
was
be
like
really upset.
panicking, especially because I think dad's not my biological father, so she was like extra
What are you
angry.
doing?
But
Yeah.
I was like, come on, like,
we still technically
That's
your dad then, you
so
know.
hard.
yeah. And also, mum had grey walls in her house, like you know that like
She
beigey
chose-
millennial
Yeah.
type thing. And I get seasonal depression, and the grey walls. Like I was like, I'm just happier at dad's to get more sunlight in the room, and I think it just ruined. So I was just like, okay, Helen had moved to London, so I just moved.
So neither of you can have me. Helen, get your brain damaged head
Yeah.
on the plane.
Well, she was there first.
Oh,
and
she's
then,
already there.
Yeah, so I just went to I just got my visa, but I didn't know anything about London at all. And I didn't know research. I was just like, I'm just going to be with my friend, and then I got there and she was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know.
So Townsville to London, one of
Yeah.
the biggest cities in the world.
Yeah, I had to get a passport.
And they have more than 2 Myers there. Would have fucking blown your brain.
Oh, dude, going to Harrods.
Yeah. I thought Harrods was just a teddy bear shop, but
yeah.
it's not.
No, I just remember going to the grocery area, being like, whoa, you can get tropical fruit all year round. I can get lychees anytime I want. They're so expensive, though. I can't afford them, but
Yeah.
it was so
And is
lit.
that where you had your worst job in London, do you reckon?
No.
What was your worst ever job?
Townsville, Sanity Music.
Sanity Music. Is it still?
What-
Is it
why
still there?
is it? Was teenage boys
No.
coming in?
No, it was the boss.
Oh,
It was
okay.
the boss. It was the boss. He sucked. So I had a good boss. I had
What's
a
his
good
name?
manager. His name's Kale.
Great. I love when
Kale
people-
Campers.
Yes.
Yes.
I love
I
when we
will.
get both names
I will
out.
do
Yeah.
Kale Campers. And okay, so what happened was we used to have this manager Mel, and she kept Tennille Cheeseman. Okay.
Tennille,
Yeah.
these sound all made up.
No, Tennille,
she kept
sounds amazing.
Tennille Cheeseman in line because Tennille, she had a real, when somebody's got like a chip on their shoulder because
She sounds
of,
mean. Was she a mean girl?
she was
Tennille's
a real
always
mean girl.
Yeah.
I think she just like maybe got bullied in high school and then wanted to continue bullying everyone.
Yes. Yeah, they always do.
And so she was really mean to this girl, Brittany, and she was mean to me too. I think just because we were younger than her or something. And so
Easy prey.
she was mean to Brittany, and then so Brittany refused to work any day Tennille was working. So she would only work when I was working or when Mel was working. And then Mel left, the manager. She got promoted to the different shopping centre.
Head CD
The
lady.
bigger one, yeah.
Oh my God.
And then Kale was brought in from Mackay, I think. And then him
So it
and
came with Mackay energy.
big time. Big time. Little city energy. Little Cane City energy.
Wow, they shipped someone in.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess he wanted to move to the big smoke. And then he and Tennille got together as like a couple.
hooked up?
They hooked
Of course
up
they
and got
did.
together as a couple.
Oh my Lord.
And so then instead of him
Power couple.
keeping her in control, they together became the most controlling people
Oh my
ever.
God.
Brittany, she left. She outed. She was like, I can't work here anymore. These people are proper cunts.
I'd rather get hit by a bus. Helen, how'd you do it?
Yeah. Let me get there.
Yeah.
I need to do it. And I'm going to tell everybody that he pushed me. But anyway, he kicked a box of stock at me one day, and I just walked out. And I was good. I was the only that we used to have KPIs for like CD cleaner kits, right? And I like I was like the national champion, and I had to write in the because they would be like, how they in retail they send out like a weekly sort of like newsletter type thing. They asked me to write how I was selling so many in there. Like I was really good at doing that stuff. Okay,
Sanity
all the
needed
KPIs.
you.
Yeah, they needed me. I didn't get any bonuses or anything. It was just like
Oh my God.
to be good at this thing.
Yeah. And look what happened when you left.
Yeah.
They've all shut down.
Well, they got married. I know. I checked it
my
out.
God.
But
you
here's
still
the good
stalk him on
bit.
Facebook?
I stalked him recently, and
Yeah,
then I
right.
checked again this morning, and guess what?
They're divorced.
No, Kale
Yeah.
is an aspiring actor.
Yes. See, there you go. It's all
Thank you.
worked out in your
Thank you.
favour. That's
Thank
so
you.
good.
And then auditions with you at
Yeah.
some stage. That's a
That's-
fucking
This
full
is-
circle.
You know what?
that he would absolutely know who you are and follow you.
I cannot, like the dream. I'm petty. You know, you kicked
we
a box
all
of stock
are.
at me. You kicked a box of stock at me once when I was that was before I moved to London. I was a literal teenager. I was a child. You were in your 30s.
Oh
Okay.
my God. I thought it was
Yeah.
like the same age.
No.
Yeah, all right.
He's like in his 30s. I'm like, you kicked a box of stock at a teenager
Yeah.
who was really good at the like KPI thing. Like,
yeah,
what-
I could sell, what is it called? CD cleaners
Yeah.
to anyone. People
Yeah.
with CD cleaners would still buy
Exactly.
CD cleaners from me. I don't know what a CD
there's
cleaner
no
is, but I wanna
reason
buy one from
to
you.
kick a box of stock at
No,
somebody.
not
No,
one.
which is now why I would, if I get to
Yes.
make something, I'm going to ask for a self-tape. I'm going to ask for an audition. I'm going to say, whoever's casting this, we've got a request. I'd love to get that. Love to get that. That's petty and
so
good, right?
good. But it's the best.
But
It's
are
the
you going to
ultimate
send
revenge.
him the script and make him do something humiliating? Because sometimes when you get auditions...
I hadn't thought about that, but yes.
Yeah,
This is
because sometimes when you get
great.
auditions, you're like, is this going in there end of
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
real? Because I had to
Yeah.
do one for like, I think it was the King of Cross or something, I don't know,
Yeah.
King of King's Cross or some shit. And it was like, I had to be tied up and someone was kicking the shit out of me on the ground. And I had to be like, no, what?
Come on, don't make somebody just roll around on the
Yeah, I'm
ground
just
screaming.
rolling around on the ground with my shirt off, like, and I'm like, and I sent it in. I was like, this is just going to be a bullying highlights reel. Like, I never
Yeah.
heard anything back, but there's just a video of me on the ground with my shirt off, going like, ah. And I'm like, why did I do that?
Do you know who got the role?
Man, I watched the series. And that character never existed. No one ever did that.
Okay, who did you wrong in the production or writing crew?
No, I don't know. Who did I kick a box of stock at?
That's
I don't know. But yeah, I watched the whole series and that scene wasn't in there. So I often think, like, that's the best punishment is like, how do I...
Yeah, that's the ultimate revenge.
Yeah.
This is great. You've played the long game.
I didn't even know I was playing the long game. You know why? Because at the time, if anybody said they wanted to be an actor, I would have been like, okay. Because I didn't know I was going to do anything.
I thought Danielle was like only a couple years. The way you told the story, I thought she was only a couple years older than you. Is he way older than her?
No, I think he's like a few years older, but she was like at least 27, 28 at the time. Like there was no reason, but I think she just had pretty bad acne scarring and was really like that for some reason that really made her a bitch. You know when people say like people act like pretty people are going to be the biggest bitches, and then you go like, no, people who get treated like shit, they're the worst people.
Yeah, they're the
worst people.
The worst ones.
Because
actually, also people who are really, really pretty.
Yeah,
who are really mean to me.
Yeah,
I had a lady called Tracy, as she was my manager at Donut King when I was 14 months, and she refused to learn my name, and she was like the beautiful girl at school. Like she was in year 12, I think I was in year 8.
Also, Donut King's like such a small environment. Like
Tiny.
it's like you have to learn somebody. It's only like a metre square.
She hated me so much. Every time I'd turn up, she'd roll her eyes and she'd be like, "Hi, Brooke." I'd be like, "That's
why did she hate you?"
I don't know. I don't know why she hated me. And my brother and sister.
I reckon I can come up with a few things.
Were you pretty as a teenager?
No, I was 14. I was really frumpy, had like awkward hair, and I was like, I was a bit chubby, and she was like this. Like long, slim, blonde hair, blue eyes. Like boys would hover around Donut King to watch her, and I was just like, I was like Pumbaa to her. So she would always be like,
"You're Pumbaa to her, Timon."
Usually, people are like nice when there's somebody who they go, "Oh, that's my sidekick energy."
Yeah, no, I was not her sidekick. I was like absolutely cramping her style. I think she would have preferred to have like a Donut King full of babes, and I really was ruining that.
That's funny.
I was her bore.
Donut King full of babes.
Yeah, and I was her bore.
I would have loved a Donut King full of babes.
Is that what exactly. Everything comes back to bores. You have to know that, Danielle. You know that. Yeah. So like I think I have a feeling she is still doing something to do with shopping centres.
She's probably still at the Donut King.
Yeah, I think I think she'd hit her peak at 18, and that's when I think people become really mean, is when they hit their peak at 18, and then they get moved on, like probably Tennille did as well, moved on, and then they go, oh wait, I had so much more power in high school. I'm just going to try and recreate this in Sanity.
Yeah. But I don't think she had power in high school. I think she was trying to create the power out of.
She's trying to create the new dynamic in that group.
I think like she like thought that, because you know how people like think like when like they're younger and in regional towns, like music is the only outlet, and I think she thought like Sanity was like
like the mecca.
She was like, I am cool alternative, but it's
guys,
like
I've got the new Limp Bizkit album before anyone else. So I'm way ahead of the trend.
I used to go, in high school though. I used to go into Sanity. And I couldn't afford it. It was $30 for a CD. Joking. So, but you'd go in there as a teenager and just like flick through the CDs, and like I used to flick through CDs that I was definitely not going to listen to, but I thought were cool at the time, like Garbage. So I'd be like, yeah, I listened to this heaps. I didn't. I just listened to Alanis Morissette and only Alanis Morissette. I would go through Garbage and I'd be like, and I'd walk around with a Garbage one.
I've got this one already.
Yeah, I just hold it for a bit. But all the girls that worked there were beautiful, and they were the cool girls from school. Obviously not me. Well, I wasn't allowed there. But was that the vibe of the school? Was it like the cool people?
I think the thing is, I think JB Hi-Fi had become a thing by this point. So Sanity was on the way out. The cool people, they were getting jobs at JB.
Hi-Fi, yeah.
This was just nerds here.
Oh, wow. And mean nerds.
Mean nerds, yeah. Except for the manager. She was great. And Brittany was great.
Mel and Brittany were great.
And Laura was great too.
Just to scale it, what was your first CD you ever bought?
My sister and I went halves in Pretty Fly for a White Guy album.
Okay. Danielle?
First album?
Yeah.
That was Mariah Carey, Rainbow.
Okay.
Fuck yeah, that's a good one.
First one I got bought for me was, do you remember Ep.17? all right, everything's good. Mum bought me that. I was like,
was everything all right?
No. No. And then a Michael Jackson album, I said, take that back. And then Mum Mum got like out of the disc bin was like Pantera,
Yeah.
which fucking ruled. But then the first album I bought was the Chumbawamba one. He's like, I get knocked out.
I feel like your mum actually had the vibe right the first
Yeah,
time.
I know. Fuck. But I was like, man, this song's great. So obviously the other songs are going to be even better on there.
Have you seen
No.
the Triple J like a version of that song? And Goxie's in it?
Oh, actually, I have, yeah.
He's like in the background, and then he sings the "I get a whiskey
Whiskey
drink,"
drink again.
Except he goes, "I have a Goxie drink. I get,
That's
I have a chalky milk."
What shocked me about that was Goxie's timing.
Yeah, he was,
was
really good. I did not expect that. I was like,
watch his face while he's doing it because he is focused. He's like, I drink a Goxie drink. I drink a chalky milk. I drink a cider drink. Like he's
it's the
properly,
first time
like,
he's actually
like,
had to think.
I better get it right on time. It's really great to watch it, and he's got a fresh new haircut in it too. It looks like he looks like he
Nice.
belongs in it.
Good on him.
He looks great in it.
And then that was Sanity was the worst ever job you had, and when you walked out, would you classify that as an epic storm out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just got up.
Did they call you? They're like, oh, where'd you go? What do you do? It's just a box.
No,
They didn't.
because I immediately, because the state manager had been up the week prior and had noticed the way that they were treating the staff.
Great.
And she pulled me aside and was like, is that normal? And I was like, it didn't used to be, but for the last 3 months he's been here and things have gotten out of control. And that's when we had the younger staff member quit.
Yeah.
And
Brittany.
yeah, because there were two Britneys, but
Oh my God.
I realised that then, and I was like, I don't want one of the Britneys to hear. Another of them are going to listen, but
They might. That's
they
pretty
might.
popular.
That's true. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It's actually it's going off this pod, isn't it, Britty?
Yeah, it's going all right.
Hey,
That's
it's
true.
going
I'm still
really
friends
well.
with them both online. So
Oh, you are?
never know.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
that's
will.
true.
Yeah, they'll be listening, and you liked both of them.
I like both of them.
They're both Brittany's. You're
Both Britneys,
beautiful.
incredible. One of the Britneys, not the one I'm talking about, she would find dead animals on the road and make them into like cool puppets. She's like, really. No, they were cool.
no.
Like they were cool. They were like,
Were they?
like the ones that you do at the show where it's like a marionette. Like she would
Like
just
a-
use the bones and then the
Oh.
feeds.
Danielle, you always have the best stories on
Oh
every
my
podcast. Like, it's just like,
God.
anyway, she used to make puppets off roadkill.
They,
Like,
were,
was
they
also
were really
standard-
cool puppets.
Well,
These
like, as
weren't
in like what? Like
Rotten animals.
like no,
she taxidermied them?
Yeah,
Just
she
to
like sort
clean
of like
it.
she took them all apart and she would use the feathers and the bones to make these almost like they look like shadow puppets come to life. They're really cool stuff.
That does sound pretty impressive.
really
also
cool.
gross, and it would stink so bad.
Do they stink?
Maybe
Of course they stuck. Did she stink?
no, no,
No, she didn't.
no, she didn't stink. But she had, I think she had some animals that would like, or worms or something that would like eat all the flesh or something.
So
I can't remember.
Oh, so she'd put it outside,
Yeah.
let the ants take all the meat off the bone.
I think something like that. I don't remember. She was living in the bottom of like an old
She'd
Queenslander.
Stink. I respect her.
She might listen. I can't say it.
But
she
she
stinks.
might stink. She doesn't stink now, but I reckon if you're collecting dead animals off the side of the road.
Who are these people you were hanging
I
around?
also love that she's only come up now. Like your issue was a lady with acne scars, but
Well,
you
Brittany
also
was nice.
okay.
Brittany was
She
nice.
might have stunk to high heavens.
And you just heard me talk about it. I thought it was cool.
yeah, you
Yeah.
did.
So
Yeah.
I
It was
didn't.
cool.
I've never given it a second thought until now.
Why? And he didn't ever kick a box at her.
He never kicked a box at her, but I think
And so
she'd
did you
also left by
call-
that time. So I called
Yes.
the lady who'd been there the week prior and was like, "Hey, Kale just kicked a box of stock at me. I've walked out. I'm not going back."
Yes.
Luckily, I'd already been applying for jobs earlier,
Mm-hmm.
so immediately that's when I got my job at Telstra, and Telstra paid really good. Well, when I say really good, I mean like. I was living with my dad, and he made me pay like $100 a fortnight in rent.
Oh my
And
god.
so
Well, if you don't want grey walls, you're gonna have to pay.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We got once again the scaling thing is because I used to get paid like $8 an hour. I think you were the same. Like you can tell how old
The
someone
first
is.
one.
by
Oh, your first job, $5.55. What are you talking about?
What was your?
My first job was $10 an hour cash in
Holy
hand.
hell.
But you only had a certain amount of hours you could work because it was at a dog boarding kennel. So we could only do like 5 hours a day max because it was like two and a half hours in the morning, 2.5 hours in the afternoon.
Oh,
It
you
was
split shifts?
Yeah.
Oh, that is dreadful.
That's
No,
why.
I think
And
that's
the
great.
a
two and
split
two.
shift.
Yeah.
thing is, you
You
are
just wait for
covered
your
in
shift
dog
to
shit. And
Yeah.
you're sweaty, so you can't really do anything in between the days.
Covered
and
in
it was
dog
Saturdays
shit.
and
Why are you
Sundays.
covered in dog shit?
Just
You
rolling
could just use a
around in
shovel.
it. No wonder they didn't want you to stay for longer than 2 hours. She just keeps rolling in it.
Well, okay. So what happens is you got the like the shit. You got
Scoop.
the scoop and then the other scoop, and so sometimes you just be holding it and you wouldn't want to empty it too often because into the bins because it would like take too long, and so you'd be trying to rush through it, and so sometimes you'd try and get as much shit onto the thing as you can, and sometimes it would hit the back of your leg.
Oh no, I am not. Oh, that is yuck. Everything in this episode so far has smelt so bad.
That's my favourite job I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, I loved that job. It was so good.
Even the poop?
I didn't mind. You get desensitized.
You get used to it.
You get used to it.
I guess so. I've got kids. You get used to shit everywhere.
And you got like a high pressure hose. You can just spray it off.
So that was your favourite job?
That's my favourite
job. And was that was your first job?
Yeah, I worked there from like 14 till, because we could only do like 5 hours a day, and the wage never went up, so it was always $10 an hour. Yeah, okay. So the max I could earn is if I was 7 days a week, it was like sort of what's that, $350.
Yeah.
Well, if you're only paying $100 a fortnight, you're fucking living like a king.
Well, I mean, I still had to pay for fuel to and from the workplace,
yeah, okay.
And then if you want to go out with friends or anything, the whole thing is done.
If you want to hang out with Danielle Cheeseman, oh my God, you have to pay for her drinks. Because she always leaves her wallet at home. And then you have to pay for Kale's because he's a fucking asshole.
One of my first job experiences was at a veterinary clinic, and I was in the kennel boarding. I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I thought I wanted to be a vet. I didn't have the grades for that. But until they go, are you fine with watching a surgery? And I was like, yeah, I want to be a vet. And they opened up a cat's nutsack and desexed it, and I passed out.
Okay. You definitely can't be a vet.
No, I was like, I just saw 2 testicles out in the world. I was like, why am I going down?
I like that you brought up the grades, but the grades have nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I think it's a multi-prong approach of all that. Yeah.
Was there even any blood involved in that?
No blood, but I just saw I was like, because testicles and dudes, we're very sensitive about it.
Yeah.
I know you hate that, but
testicles?
I said I was going to get a vasectomy, but I wanted to be knocked out, and Bron hated it.
No, yeah, my boyfriend got knocked out during his vasectomy.
That upsets me so much.
Because what, completely knocked out?
Yeah, he fully went under.
Yeah, that's what I want.
And then he got upset with me for making fun of him.
Yes. You were in the right here.
Thank you, because
I
was like,
15-minute procedure.
Yeah, when my dad got his vasectomy,
painful.
we
it's
all
not. You have a
laughed
local.
at him, and he was fine with it.
Yes, he's fine with it, and he should be fine with it.
And also, like, it's come on. I've had way worse stuff.
Exactly.
I had an
GPs used to do
IUD
it.
pulled in and put it. I had an IUD. That's
oh my God.
The coil or that T thing that goes up there.
Yeah.
Oh, so
and
sore.
I went to work after I got it put in, and I was a courier at the time, on foot, walking around everywhere.
Oh my God.
The day I got it put in. Do you know what that's like?
They never asked you if you wanted to go under a local or a general. No. They never asked women this stuff. They're just like, well, this is just part and parcel of being a woman. And then for the men, they're like, do you, little baby, need to have extra help? And then people like you, Brett,
you know what?
Yes, I actually probably deserve it.
Anything else, like I'm happy, like if you're gonna amputate a toe, and they go, we've got no painkillers. Great.
That's
testicles, I'm very sensitive about.
And so you're saying this? Me and Bron can cut your toe off right now.
You know what? I'm gonna double down. Yes, I'm gonna get a pair of fucking pliers right now. You can take my little toe off, but no, I think it's just something in the testicle. I don't know what it is. We're just we're pussies.
It's under local though. You're just there in like
but the idea of
or
someone
something.
Don't you have to get an injection for the local anyway?
In your nuts?
Yeah.
See, that's why I want to be knocked out completely.
Oh, okay.
So the general, you won't feel, okay.
I want to be knocked out, and then they put whatever they got to into
Do you know how groggy you are mentally when you get knocked out?
Yeah. I also hate being knocked out. I've had it done twice, and I hated it.
Yeah. I mean, I've only been knocked out when I had actual surgery. Like, I didn't have general aesthetic for my wisdom teeth or anything.
So going back to, how did Jono request this? Because it's not a normal
vasectomy with
it being knocked out. Yeah.
He just asked if he could be under. He looked up clinics that he could be under. Because I was like,
I guess you pay extra.
Yeah.
It would have cost so much to get knocked out because it's dangerous.
$1,000.
Yeah, I said I'm not contributing to that bit because I'd already done birth control for heaps of years.
Exactly.
So this is the imaginary line because you were like, well, we've had to do it, so fuck you. But it's just something separate, you know?
No.
Some testicles. We're
Yeah,
very sensitive about it.
I've had
so annoying.
depression from the pill.
Yeah.
I went on the IUD. It was in there for so many years. And to
get it removed, very painful, very invasive.
I can't win this argument. There's 2 ladies on here. I can't win. I need Jono to back me up on this one.
Jono won't help you.
No, he won't. He knows he would get in trouble.
Okay.
When I was in Adelaide, I have this bit where I'm like, has anyone had a vasectomy in Adelaide? Every single time, heaps of men were like, yes. Like I think the entire state's neutered. Anyway, and I'd be like, how was it? All of them were like, oh, it was fine. I was under a general. I'm like, every single time I spoke to someone
Completely
in
knocked
Adelaide,
out.
completely knocked out.
That's the world
It
I
was
want to live in.
the weakest state I've ever been to. I was like, I'm going to bash everyone here. I was so angry. I was like, it's a 15-minute procedure and you can't feel it because you've got a
You
local
can feel someone rummaging around in your ball
for
sack.
15 minutes.
It
Grow
can't
up.
be.
Can I say,
Grow
as a
up.
child, we had the dental van at school.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
know the dental van? They come to school. It's the students, they do, and I had to get a filling, and they were like, "Do you want the needle?" And I was like, "No, I'm not doing a needle. I'm not doing a needle." So then I didn't do the needle, and then I just held onto the bed as they drilled into
Oh
my
my
nerve endings, and I was like
God.
9 years old, just holding onto the thing because I didn't want the needle as they drilled into my nerve
Oh
ending. So you
God.
can have a fucking vasectomy,
Yeah,
Brett
you
Blake.
can.
I don't see how the two correlate.
Let's
you know
do
what I mean?
it.
That's really painful.
Yeah, I've had someone put stitches in without any general before because I was too drunk. They couldn't
Any
give
local?
me any local. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's a stitch.
Oh, but you were drunk, so who cares? What? Your hair lip? If you had a hair lip,
No, not there.
what happened? How'd you do it?
My best friend punched me in the mouth.
What'd you do?
What did I do? Well, I did a lot of things that
Oh
night.
my God.
No, because I've got a big mouth, so I know I'm a smart ass, and he's fiery. So one time, I think I interrupted him getting a blowjob.
I hate this story.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to go down this path anyway.
You
I'm just
just
trying to say what the catalyst was to the. So he was annoyed at me already because I came over half an hour before I was meant to come over.
Okay.
We're having a party at his house. We're drinking heaps of booze. I was saying shit. He was saying shit. We're both winding each other up. And then he's like, I'm going to punch this cunt in the head. And because I know I've got a big mouth and he's my best mate, and I didn't want to say anything because I always say something. I've always got to have the last opinion. So I bit my lip to not say anything. And as I bit my lip, he punched me and I bit through.
Oh.
So, and like through my, all up there. So it's from there to there.
I didn't
It's
know that was a
split in
thing people
half.
actually had to do to bite the lip to stop yourself from talking.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
know that was a thing people actually did.
Well, no, it's cool, it's like, oh, you got to bite your lip, you know?
Wow.
You must have.
But I actually literally did it, and it was the worst idea ever because when I got punched and I bit down and it just went through.
Oh, I'd love
I'd
to
like
see the
6
picture of that.
stitches.
Yeah,
up
you
there.
got to shave that little
Yeah, I'd
bit
love
of
to-
No,
muscle
it's
so we can see.
it never went through. It was only on the other side. It was like the
Oh,
skin.
in the middle.
Yeah, so it's all
Inside.
internal, yeah.
So they flipped it over and had to stitch in there.
Yeah, and it was like this for like 2 weeks. It was fucking rank.
Wow,
That's when I worked at Dick Smith Electronics. I previously got punched in the eye twice when I went to Dick Smith. I came in with 2 panda eyes and they told me to go home. And then 3 weeks later, I came in with this fucked face and they're like, why do you keep getting in fights? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm such a nice guy.
Did you have the mullet then? Did people just think you... Okay, I don't... Yeah.
Yeah, I look worse now, but I look nicer back then, but I was more chaotic, yeah.
That's right. You used to have like a sort of more like spiky metrosexual look going
yeah.
on. That's right.
I would have gone with
that.
punk, but yeah, okay.
Okay, sorry.
No, but I did have the cardigan, so very confusing, very confusing.
And so, Danielle, if you could go back in time, because they obviously are the worst bosses you've ever had, is
Yeah.
that right? Would they be
Yeah.
the worst bosses? What would you say to them? If you could go back in time when he kicked a box at you, and you were as like with all the knowledge that you
Okay.
know now, would you say anything to him, or would you simply walk out?
I think I would almost like to come back a different day, but pretend
Yeah.
I'm from now
Yeah.
and say, hey, you should make sure you get a brain scan done every 2 months because tumours can come on pretty fast. I would just like to freak him out. That's what I would like to do.
Oh, I
An
thought you knew he had
incredible
a
answer.
tumor recently,
no.
and you're jumping back in time and going like, I would check it out because in the future.
No, I just
That
want him to
is-
think that he's
about to
going to
get
have a
one.
tumour.
That is psychotic, Danielle.
Well, that's actually the best answer we've ever had. That's
answer I've ever heard.
Don't wrong me. Don't wrong me, and it won't be a problem. I won't come from
not
the
even-
part of the future to tell you
Not
something
even
that's
physical.
not
It's
going to
like
happen.
it's got to be a mental game, and it slowly breaks him down.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's very, very
you.
good. It's actually a great answer. And lastly, I just want to know what's the worst ever gig you've ever done?
Oh, I did a gig in Warrnambool, and it wasn't the gig that was the issue. It was sort of the transport to and from the gig.
Incredible.
Because I just moved to Melbourne and I didn't know.
Who
Do
were
you
you-
know this?
Was it
story?
Brett?
I think I know this one. We can't say names, but I think I know this one.
Okay, yeah. Actually, one of the people we were talking about Oh, no, it was a different person. So I had to do this gig in Warrnambool. I didn't know that Warrnambool was like a 4.5, 5 hour drive away from Melbourne.
Away,
when I said yes to it, and I was going to get paid $50 to do this
No!
gig. But I was very new to Melbourne. You know, you do every
and
gig
a paid
when you
gigs.
start.
Oh, my God. Paid gigs. Incredible.
And like 10 minutes stage time, you know, when you're starting, you're like, okay, you better do that. And the drive out was with 2 guys.
We'll be discussing this in the Patreon with full names, by the way.
2 guys who both just really upsetting and annoying to be around.
Yeah, I know this one.
I got in the car, I sat in the back, and I brought a blanket with me, and I tried to pretend to sleep the whole way. And on the ground there was like an empty 4-litre tub of ice cream, but it wasn't washed out. It was like it had a spoon in it, like you'd finish it off in the car.
Oh, God.
And then they sat in the front. One of them had just been through a breakup with a fiance, and then he just kept talking about how he was like, she was my boy. She was my boy. You know, she kept me afloat. She was my boy, like trying to use metaphors.
Oh, okay, that
And
kind
it was
of boy.
horrible.
Yeah.
And then we got out to the gig, and I was like, at least I get to see both of them bomb. And then they didn't bomb.
No.
And I was like, and you know, one of them definitely was always like a bomber.
Yeah.
You'd see him, he was one of those people who like twice a year there would be a freak accident where the crowd would laugh. You know those people?
Yep.
And but the thing is, with that particular person, it kept them going. Just that one good gig a year. It's the same person I talked about last week who bombed so badly the guy threw his face into some food.
Oh, yeah.
That was the same comedian.
Incredible.
On stage. Yeah.
I gotta talk about
Yeah. We'll go on the Patreon with this one. This one's really good. You'll love it. Yeah.
And so when I got out there was another girl on, and she'd driven out with her fiance, and I was like, I just had the worst trip of my life. And then she was like, oh, do you want to come back with me? Like, we're driving back anyway. Do you want to come back with me? And I was like, yes, please. Yes, please. And then afterwards she wanted to go get dinner, and we went to this place, and I asked for a chicken parma, and then it came out and it was like frozen in the middle. After I'd eaten it, I was like, oh, well, I've just eaten raw chicken then. So first off, I've had a bad time.
Yeah.
And then that was like, you know, it was a special, but $12.50's gone on my $50.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And then
it's frozen in the middle.
it was frozen in the middle, but still, like, you know, when it's still got a bit of gelatinous chicken around the outside before the cooked is done too. It was horrible. And then we got in the car to drive, and everyone in comedy is mentally ill.
Correct, yeah.
And they hadn't even thought to fuel the car up when we left. So on the way home in the country, the car just slowly stopped. And then we had to try and find, you know what it's like? There's like, the driveways are like 1 kilometre long.
Yeah.
And they just went off and asked for money, and I just gave them my money because I was like, well, I don't want to walk. Like, I'm happy for you guys to walk and go in and see if you can get fuel, but I'm staying in the car.
With this empty ice cream container. Yeah.
Because, this is the different car.
It's
The
a different car.
the girl and her husband.
God.
And
It's worse that you would have been better off with the 2
Yeah.
dancers. That's the worst
That's
part.
the worst bit. And I sat in the car because I know it was like people in the country, you know, the guns, you know, people, if you got
Have lots of them.
trespassers, you know. I was like, you go put yourself in danger, but I'm staying in the car. And then they came back with a fuel tank, and they just left all the money that we got paid for the gig on the back table to make up for taking this fuel. This person made a killing, whoever just got...
Oh, so they didn't even ask. They just took it.
Yeah, they just took it because nobody was awake. So they just went into the shed, found, you know, because everybody in the country has extra
jerry can,
petrol and jerry can.
Yeah,
And so they just put the money on the back table and then took the jerry can and then fueled the car up. And then we drove home, and I was just like, this is the worst night of my life.
Yeah.
I've gotten home at it took us like an hour and a half to find, to walk and get, and then I've come home. I've got no money, and I've had the worst time of my life. It's like 2:30 a.m.
And how did you go at the gig? Did you do fine?
Yeah, I did good.
Okay,
I did
great.
good. I was like,
thank God.
at least I was running on high from the gig.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But that is the worst gig I've ever done because of that.
Yeah, that is a dread.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire experience
Just
was
why?
horrible.
No need.
It included raw chicken.
Yeah.
It's a bad one.
It was horrible.
Yeah, but now look at you now.
Now,
On top of the world, sucked into Neil. We have been Workades. Thank you so much, Daniel. You are going to go to Sydney and Brisbane?
yeah, and Perth, I
and
think,
Perth.
too. Yeah.
Okay, great. So make sure you check out Danielle's show. What's it called again?
It's called The Lady Upstairs.
I've heard it's very good, and I'm very excited to come watch it.
Yeah, I've
this
heard
week.
it's really good as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, heard
At the
great
start of the
things.
festival, it was an hour of new, and so I was like,
wow.
God damn.
Well, that's what I said to someone. I was like, they go, Danielle's show's like great. And I was like,
Yeah.
she just told me she wrote it like a week ago.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, that can't be true. And they're like, no, it's really good. I was like, fuck.
The guy who's like works at the door of my venue, he was like, I saw Danielle Walker's show and I laughed so much. He goes, I was howling.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
You know, I got some good stories at the end. I've decided that sometimes you do bits and bits are great, and then other times you can just tell the story.
Yes, I love a story.
And it's nice to just tell a story and let it flow without trying to like start it with heaps of like ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's nice. You can
So
build. It's nice.
You are a storyteller. So your show's going to Sydney, then Brisbane, then Perth.
I think something like that.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you check her out. Thanks so much for coming on the episode
having
with
me.
Work Hates.
Thank you. I've been fired from a lot of places. I've been fired from so many places.
When